is I used to have Chicago and New York on my iPhone, like what time is it in the world? I've got Tehran. I have I have Singapore. I have, Moscow. I have all kinds of places around the world that I have friends and they're from this live streaming. So, if you're watching this, this is Haps TV and it is an absolutely amazing platform that I am on. And it's just super exciting to be here tonight. I had a clip and I wanted to show that clip in the beginning to use it as my intro because I was just saying to everybody off stage here that being a one man show, you know, it's a lot of work. And I was able to get the promo done for the show. I don't know, about an hour before the show. And I was going to use that as my opening as well. But it didn't work out. But hey, that's live streaming. And right now it looks like half my face is some kind of Terminator movie. I hope that's not my actual face. And but we'll see. Let me look at the remote. We are going to bring out Uni, and he is the CTO of Filmic Pro. But cooler than that, he is a really, really interesting photographer. I was looking at his Instagram, and well, we'll talk about it a little bit. I look normal here, so I'm going to do a quick refresh of the server. Do I cross my fingers? I'm just going to refresh my screen. I'm going to blink out for a second. I'll be right back. Whew, did we make it back? Oh,
He's back.
we always run
You made it back.
everything blowing up when I push that. And you guys are all like, ooh, what do we do? Uni, nice to meet you, my friend.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. I want to tell people that I meet a lot of people through like connections and stuff on here, but I met you in like the coolest way because I was asking a question about a new product that Filmic Pro had, and I can't remember the guy's name who answered the question, but then referred back to you and said, "Is that right?" And you said, and you replied, and we made a connection organically on Twitter, and it's really neat. It's really nice to meet you. Oh, and I love when the thing just randomly puts people in. Oh, it's because she's been on the show before. So you are Uni, and you're the CTO of Filmic Pro. Could you kind of tell us what Filmic Pro is?
Yeah, Filmic Pro is the simplest way to explain it is it's an application that records video. It's pretty straightforward. There was a time, though, when that was extremely exotic. Filmic has been around for almost 10 years at this point, and we made a video app when it was barely even possible to make a video app. And we've just stuck with it since. And one of the things that we've seen over the years is a community grew around the application and the solutions that we offer. And it it never ceases to humble me when I see people from all walks of life using our app to tell their own personal stories. And they can publish them without gatekeepers. They can tell those stories to millions of people. And we've seen glass ceilings fall, and we've seen barriers break down, and we've seen the old shackles of distribution networks fall away. And it's not because we're doing something very special, but it's because we made a tool for special people. And I'm just happy to be a part of that journey.
Wow, that is just an absolutely beautiful thing with the I feel um the energy that I felt when I've talked to you and this purpose that definitely feels larger than, a lot of things, and that what you have done and the folks at Filmic have done with that as a democratization tool. Or, I don't know, some of my friends might say an anti-capitalist tour, but I didn't say that out loud, tool. But that's amazing. And I hadn't ever put it in that light. And that is just, I got to be honest again, Uni, is that's not the way I would necessarily expect. And of course, the show isn't just about Filmic tonight, but a CTO to, explain his product and with that much, um, just, I don't know, beautiful. I just loved it. Thank you for that. That's really neat. I see folks off camera smiling too.
Yeah, I don't know if you want us to go into the rest of our product suite. I have probably
Yes.
similar sappy things to say about those too, but as you can imagine, but the word that you use, it's overused, I think. But democratization,
Hmm.
that's kind
Hmm.
of our internal rallying cry. Truth is, everybody at Filmic could make more money doing other things in other places, but we're at Filmic because we see the difference we're making in the world. And we've taken that ethic and we've applied it to photo. We've made it a really interesting and intuitive photo app that focuses on simplicity and high image quality. And we've kind of stripped everything away um, from what you expect a photo app to be. And we've just given you the bare essentials with some powerful automation and some amazing film simulations. Just so there's no barrier between somebody's creative vision and creating the vision. And then we have another application called Double Take, where it allows you to fire up multiple camera lenses at one time and shoot multiple fields of view from multiple camera lenses. That may sound silly. Why would you want to do that? But it allows people to tell stories in interesting ways. We've seen people do something called environmental documentaries, where they have the camera facing them, and then they have the juxtaposed camera facing the environment, and they can go around and they can document the world, whether it's a riot in Taipei or a natural disaster. We have this phenomenon rising up called mobile journalism or citizen journalism, where people can take tools like mobile phones and they can form a connection between their part of the world and the global community. And Double Take has allowed that to happen as well. We
Uh,
also offer. Oh, I'm sorry, Rev. Go ahead.
oh no, please. I just wanted to say that the um, live streaming here and this platform started out and still has a mission of bringing journalism to the planet in a way that is not new, but with intent and purpose to let just anyone do some journalism in their hometown, on their
Mhm.
block, on their street, in their village, in their town or city. So I like that shared kind of mission. But please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point that you bring up. At Filmic, we often discuss how the old gatekeepers can't guard all the gates anymore. There's just too many of them. And people can now tell their own stories on their own terms from their own perspective. And it doesn't have to go through the filter of some white guy sitting in a press office somewhere. They can directly appeal to people. And it has changed the world and it is changing the world. And we're just humbled to be a part of it. And again, I don't know that Filmic does anything particularly special besides um, execute well, make reliable apps that do what we say they're going to do, and offer support. You mentioned that I responded personally to your inquiry, but that's true of our entire team. You can ping anybody directly from Filmic. You can email them directly. You can call them. You can set up a meeting with them. Everyone at Filmic, at every level of the organization, is available for you to talk to if you have a problem or if you have a question. And it's not because we think that's a great marketing strategy or an efficient use of our time, but it's because we are passionate about the work that's being done with this, and we want to make sure that that is that happens, and that we don't get in the way of that.
That is, that is. I mean, if you're in business, it's a great philosophy to have for sure. I am going to because we have three filmmakers. I think they're all filmmakers. They are um, who have joined us, and I wanted to bring them in so we can talk, but also um, so we can kind of see their reactions as well, because everybody was really enjoying, I think, what you were talking about, and I want you to go ahead and kind of go through the product suite again, and then we can talk a little bit. Keep going through that, and we'll can talk about it a little bit. But I do want to say that above you in this Brady Bunch world is Amanda Moresco, and to her right, stage left, I'm not sure. That's Sky Nakamura, and to your right or left, again, I'm not an actor. It's Ching Jewel. So everybody, this is Uni. All right, sir, I'll let you go ahead and go back to the product suite.
Yeah, there's one more product I guess I'd like to draw your attention to. It's called Filmic Remote. It allows you to create a wireless connection with Filmic Pro and control it from a distance using like an iPad or another phone. And this allows what we call the impossible shots. I don't know if any of you have seen Unsane by Steven Soderbergh, but what he did some amazing things with Filmic Pro. The entire movie was filmed with Filmic Pro, and he would take the phone and he would tape it to chairs and to walls and interior that you would never shoot in. And as you people know, lighting is almost impossible in those small quarters, and also miking and audio management. It's a real pain, but he didn't care. He would just tape it to a ceiling fan, and he would use Filmic Remote to control the device wirelessly, so there wouldn't need to be a camera operator actually interacting with the phone. And that's how he was able to get some of those very creative, impossible shots that you can't do with a traditional camera system. Delightful. And we've seen that template used over and over again.
And I'm having fun showing you that I do have the remote, and I know Chris probably does too. But that that is just very cool. The Sky was just thrilled when I said that. Oh, there's a remote feature. She's like, what? What? I think she downloaded it. Yeah,
Making the
you
sales.
guys can unmic yourselves here.
Yeah,
Ching,
I
you've got a
downloaded it
little bit of
immediately.
background noise. I think it's you. Hang on. Yeah, it is. You might just see if you can figure out where your little noise is coming from. I think, Ching. And
I'm good. Could it be me? Because my fan on my computer is
okay,
going off.
hold on.
Could it be me?
Let me turn them all off here. Hang on. Oh, I didn't mean to knock you out, Ching. I just meant to mute you. Hold on. All right, there we go. Ooh, I think that's me. Okay, we're good. All right, you know what it was? When I would mute you, Ching, I wouldn't talk. But I don't think anybody else can hear that. I believe that's just coming through my Bluetooth setup. So hopefully that noise isn't out there. So it's, I mean, seriously, I can't show you. I have a Bluetooth transmitter and 900 things I need to do just to be able to get these to work with my wireless setup. And it was all because I didn't want to wear the bulky headphones anymore. But let's get back to the business of making movies and Filmic Remote. And you were talking about, was it Steven Soderbergh?
Yeah, that's right. He shot 2 films with iPhone. One was Unsane, and the other one was High Flying Bird. And he relished in the experience. Small interior shots, very intimate scenes. Something that he felt extremely liberated shooting with the phone. And a lot of people focus on the shortcomings of the form factor in shooting with mobile, and you can fixate on that if you want to, be a Debbie Downer. But it has a lot of advantages. I mean, you can, for instance, Matthew Cherry, who just won an Oscar last year. He filmed a short film called 9 Rides, I believe, with iPhone. And it was another impossible shot situation where he took these really heavy-duty suction cups, and he, I don't know how he fixed it to the back of the phone. I think he glued it or something. and he just slammed that on the windshield. And he was able to get these incredible shots, and the entire film takes place as monologues inside of a moving vehicle, and it's not simulated. It's extraordinary. It's just so real and raw. The performances that he got out of those actors was just amazing. And that's one thing that we hear people say over and over again when they shoot with mobile, is that the device becomes invisible. And as you know, when you point a $250,000 camera in someone's nose, it changes them, right? That's not a passive experience, right? But with this thing, this is ubiquitous to the point where if you do this, it's like it's not even there. And this transparency of the camera, this invisibility, allows you to connect with the actor in a very unique and authentic way.
That is.
It also allows you
yes,
to
go.
film in places. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go. I'm going to be quiet.
Oh no, I just wanted to say it just allows you to film in places that you wouldn't be able to film because you'd have to get permits. And for my 1 minute film, my daughter and we shot at I don't know if I should say, but a place in Pasadena, and it's a place that they would not have allowed me to bring in a camera and a tripod and a steady cam, but we did it with a gimbal and a iPhone 11 and Filmic Pro. So it's nice to have that accessibility. It's amazing. I couldn't have done it without the Filmic Pro.
I would love to see that if you could share it.
Oh, I think we might be able to show the 1 minute film. I'll step off stage for a minute. Wow. You guys keep the conversation going, and I'll find it on YouTube, Sky, and we'll show it in a second.
Thank you.
This one Instagram from our school, from our 1 minute film school, Sky won with this film that she shot with Filmic Pro. So.
My daughter was a cinematographer, so I do need to give her credit because I wouldn't have been able to. She's just really good at. She's really good with the camera for one thing. She's younger, she's a millennial, so she picked up Filmic Pro, how to use the gimbal, how to shoot on an iPhone. The day of the shoot, the actual day. Maybe she looked at it the day before, but not for long. But it's just so user friendly that she could figure it all out, and a lens, and to weight it because we also have the a transmitter for the microphone. We ended up not using that sound, but there was a lot of things to balance on the gimbal, and she figured it all out. But I have to say, first of all, you're just so humble when you say, "Oh yeah, Filmic Pro is an app it's a filming app." And I'm like, "No, it's an amazing, powerful." It's just so sweet that you're so modest about how you present the product, because for us filmmakers, and Amanda, you use Filmic as well, right? Did you use Filmic for your last one? Amanda?
I chickened out.
Okay.
I opened it up and I said, "This is amazing," and I am not smart enough to use it yet, and I shut it down. But I am going to use it for this next film coming up in October, and I'm super excited about it.
Amanda, you shouldn't feel bad about that. I interact with our users on the field when I have the chance, and some of them are using the app in ways I've never even seen before, and I don't feel that I'm as proficient as some of our users. So I would definitely, I'm on your side of this. We do have a variety of resources though on our YouTube channel that goes through each feature step by step, and if you'd like to invest an evening in a glass of wine, I think that would be a good use of your time if you want to become empowered.
Maybe tonight after this. Yeah. So is it the Filmic? Like if I go to YouTube.
Look at that.
You are prepared.
She's got a head start. She's got a head start on us.
I have a. Makes me feel good. I found this movie. Hang on a second. I think it's.
Oh, great!
I'm racking it up here. Hang on.
Okay.
I did go to film school. I learned some of those terms. Let's see. And I actually love
And
it. I've said this before. When I'm in a room of filmmakers and I'm the only one and I'm not a filmmaker anymore, who went to film school, I love that. Let's see. Where is this? Oh, there it is.
I was in so many. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say that I've been in so many clubhouse rooms and everybody recommends Filmic Pro. You know, when that question comes out, like, what app should I use to film? I've heard it recommended it so many times. So I think word of mouth has, especially on Clubhouse, has been great because it's a great product.
Well, that's unfortunate.
there
There are some very good apps out there from competitors.
Oh, well,
I can give you a list if you like.
No, that would be interesting
We're good.
because isn't there one that like an L? I was trying to find like something that was close to yours because since I had gotten the whole setup with the cam link and all of that, I'm like, ooh, I bet I could use this with other programs too, obviously. And so I was kind of curious, you know, what else was out there. So yeah, you can even type it in if you want. Down there where it says private, if you click on that lock, won't be pink anymore, and that'll go out to the world on the chat. And I'm going to show this little film. Keep your fingers crossed that it works, but I think it will.
Okay.
If not, we'll make it work.
Should we turn our mics off? Do we need to turn our mics off for anything?
You can mute yourself. That'll be fine. You can open those mics and clap. Go ahead and give her a hearty round of applause there, everybody.
Thank you.
That was extraordinary.
Oh, that's so sweet. It was my first film, but it was. I'm glad that I had the app and ND filter and the phone. So
the camera movements were very coherent. That wide establishing shot, and then some of those transitions were almost invisible. I really enjoyed it. I just kind of fell into the narrative, and it was simple and pure, and the catharsis at the end was just perfect. That was
thank
lovely.
you so much. That means a lot to me. I'm going to have my daughter, because my daughter, like I said, she was the cinematographer, so I will let her know. She'll be thrilled because you worked for the app. So
well, she can watch the show too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, just so you know, Uni, the Darion Donahue 1 Minute Film School. Ooh, and could somebody ping Darion? Check on him, guys. If
I did. I
did you?
sent him
Darion. I'm sorry, I said Darion twice.
He's having party with Sinclair.
Well, there you go. The if we wait, where was my thought going there? Shoot. Well, anyway, it'll come back to me. Oh yes, 1 Minute Film School. So that film had to be in under a minute. And Sky, that was the one where there was all the requirements. Yes, like the shot sheets and the animatics.
Yes,
storyboard. You had to do animatics, storyboard, shot sheet, log line or no?
Yeah, log line. The log line was part of the parameters, so we had to talk about the genre, the log line, what we had in terms of resources, like anything that we had as a resource, including Filmic Pro, like some apps or equipment or locations, things like that. And that was on one sheet. Yeah, so parameters, and then the script, the storyboard, the shot list, the animatic, and then the film. So it was good because it forced us to really think about, yeah, everything fitting into 1 minute. So before that competition in July, there was there wasn't any additional requirements. It was just the film, but they leveled it up a lot for July, and then the final product was due in August. So it's going forward. It's gonna be the same. You have to have those 5 things. Um, is it 5 plus the film? So it's getting more and more challenging. And this time we have to use sound. We can't get away with what I did.
Oh, you Foleyed your sound, right?
I actually used wave sounds. So, but I did time it with the actual waves. So I didn't
Hey,
just throw it in there
look,
willy
look, it's a
nilly. But
film. You know, the the
yeah,
the the Star Wars sound, that's, a wrench on
that's
a
true.
cable or whatever, right? So, you didn't
Yeah.
play unfair. You did it you did it the way that you could do it. And what is really cool is that tool of the iPhone, even, which we probably haven't. You did use an iPhone.
I did.
Oh, this is
11.
terrible. Is there an Android version of Filmic Pro, Uni?
There is, Rev.
There is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Android users. We don't want to leave you out. Um, but anyway, this, you can use any camera, right, Sky? I always thought it had to be an iPhone or a Android, but you can actually use any camera for the film as well, right? For the 1 minute.
Oh yeah, for the film competition, yeah, you could use anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
DSLR.
I do want to point out too, because I'm still kind of, now I have a green screen, so it's a little bit more challenging. Sky and I were talking about this, but look at Uni's image, how freaking sharp that is. That, like, I'm close, but not that close. I'm trying, to really get that look, and I got the lighting and everything. So I got something to aspire to, my friend. That's a beautiful setup. Are you shooting on a phone? You have to be. You said you're using Filmic, right? What are you shooting
Yes.
on?
I'm shooting on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the selfie camera. I just have
Oh, the
one
selfie.
light in a Rembrandt kind of configuration here.
Wow.
Yeah. See,
And I
I'm
have
trying too hard.
Wow. Yeah,
I
me
have some
too.
tone mapping going on in the
Okay.
cinematographer kit, and yeah,
Now,
not much to
I
it.
did go to film school and we did cut film. I have no idea what tone mapping is, but I'll be Googling it and I'll learn to do it. And I love it. I love it. Amanda and Ching, please, give us a little bit of what you're feeling about, because Ching, you shot a ton on your phone. I don't know that you've shot not on your phone very often.
Yeah, for the last 5 6 years, I shot a lot on my phone. I started iPhone 6 and 7 and 10 and 11 and 12 now. So I know Filmic Pro, and I installed on my phone about 2 years ago. But I have to confess, when I opened it, like Amanda, I was a little bit scared about it, and so I did not use it yet. It is on my phone. Yeah, I bought it. So I want
Well, I
to
appreciate the
use.
sale.
I do meant to use it. I think it's always a challenge to anybody to learn a new app, whether it's a software of editing, or Filmic Pro looks very sophisticated. So I meant to. But I would figure sometimes I can use Final Cut to edit all my projects, and I would say I will probably have a capacity to learn a new software. And yeah, but I do want to learn. All my films so far has shot with no extra lenses, no Filmic Pro, but I meant to improve myself and get a moment anamorphic lens first, and yeah, I will go from there. So I'm sure, yeah, I can, um, you know, I can make my film more cinematic and more interesting and more attractive.
Ching, can I make a recommendation?
Yes.
We've done extensive testing with anamorphic lenses from a wide variety of manufacturers, and we really feel that the Moondog Optics anamorphic lenses are of higher quality. They have better inter-element lens coatings, and the acutance is better at the edges, better image quality.
Mm.
So if you want to spend $30 to $50 more on the Moondog version, you will get a better product that I think you'll use with greater
You
frequency.
you mean $30 more than a moment or
That's right.
what?
Yeah, it's going to be a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
more expensive than Moment.
Oh, Moondax. How to spell, please?
Moondog.
Okay.
Moondog. Yeah.
Oh, Moon Dog.
Yes, Moondog.
What a funny name.
It is.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll look.
And
I'll look into that.
do they have the
But
clip-on type, or do you need to buy the case for the Moondog?
I believe
Do
they
you know?
actually have ironically enough, I think they support the Moment mount now. So
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
great,
definitely go on their
Interesting.
website and
great.
see what their latest offerings are. They're changing all the time.
Well, yeah, because when you go on the Moment website, they do have Moondog lenses, and I was confused as to they were why they would do that. But so I guess they are interchangeable. So great. One thing I wanted to say is when you first started speaking and we were all enamored by what you were saying, I think it was because when you find fellow lovers of film, it's what brings us all back to why we're doing this, right? So when you talk the way you do about getting back down to just what the stories are and taking away the gatekeepers, it's just a super exciting thing to hear, and the camaraderie of all of us who really do want to make films. And part of the reason why I was intimidated by Filmic Pro, but I'm also super appreciative of it because I've made films before as a director, short films, and just come in on the creative end where I'm here are DP, here's the shots here that I want. Now you do it, right? You light it, right? And then the pandemic hit and we're all sitting alone in the room, and I'm sitting going, wow, I don't know anything. I know nothing, right? And so it's like I need to start from scratch, and Filmic Pro really gives you this opportunity to be a cinematographer and learn these things, even if it is intimidating. The idea that I could pick it up and I could start to understand these things and do it myself, and I don't need a crew. I can tell my stories is revolutionary, and that's something that I'm really appreciative of.
Um,
well
uh,
said.
thrills me to hear that. I mean, that's the heartbeat of filming. That's what keeps us going every day. So thank you very much. I'll pass those sentiments on to my team if you don't mind.
Please.
Yeah. I think I think the possibilities are so great right now for filmmaking and for small budget filmmakers to create art and create you know films. And I think that we're in a very exciting era where is even 20 years ago it's not possible, right?
I would say even more recent than that. I would say 10 years ago. I mean, the economics are different in different parts of the world. So, in North America, for instance, it's a low budget is $500,000 to $1.2 million for a picture, right? But that's a non-starter in Malaysia, for instance. But we have now an entire community of filmmakers who are using what they have in their pocket already to make extraordinary film and tell their stories on their terms. And part of democratizing filmmaking, I think, besides just making it available, is making these products available for a price that makes sense for these people. Because our app is $15. That may not seem like a lot of money when you compare it to a Fuji X-T4, for instance, but it's a lot. It's a lot of money in India. So there's a lot of pressure for us to keep our price as low as possible in these territories so that we can make it as accessible as possible. It's a delicate balance for us because Filmic does require a lot of reinvestment for us to keep it on the cutting edge. But we think that we're doing okay, I think there. But I agree with you. We are at the very beginning of a revolution in filmmaking. And I think some people deceive themselves into thinking that mobile filmmaking is mature and it's where it's going to be. But that isn't true at all. This cinematography is over a century old, and mobile filmmaking is a decade, 1/10. This is the very start of the start of a new type of filmmaking, and all of you are pioneers in that movement, and you are defining the language of film on this platform. And I'm just thrilled that we can help you in any way that we can.
So, Chris, can I ask you a question? First of all, where is Filmic Pro, like the company base at? And then when was this app first created?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't count our secret base on the moon, we have a base of operations in Seattle, and we have one in Barcelona. But those are only our official locations. We have people all over the world. The pandemic kind of forced us to go fully remote with our workforce, and it's been a great change. Actually, we've really loved it, and we've had people just kind of spread out since then, and go to different places and work where they're comfortable. And the great thing about that too is since we have team members all over the world now, we can get amazing promo footage from anywhere we want. The Canary Islands, Tasmania, New Zealand, doesn't matter. So that's a lot of fun. That was your first question. Did you have a second question?
Oh, I was asking when was
when?
your app established?
Yeah, that was 2000. Let's see here, 11, I think it was. So about 10 years ago, 9-10 years ago.
That's a while ago. Yeah. So, what is your expertise? Are you a filmmaker, or are you a marketing person, or are you what is your role?
Marketing? No, thank you. That's not my cup of. No, I'm a color scientist, a software engineer, and a photographer. I've done some experimentations with filmmaking, but on a very amateur level, and I would not even suggest that I'm at the level that you are. But in terms of photography, I've been in photography for about 20 years now, and I just love the visual arts.
I followed Rev's recommendation to follow you on Instagram, and I am enamored with your photos, and they're just gorgeous. Wow! So everybody go follow.
Well, I was aiming that, and you couldn't hear me. Yeah. Yes.
Where do I
Amazing
find his
photographer.
Instagram? Because I looked
Mythic
up Christopher
Stallion. Mythic Stallion on
I'll type it in the chat.
Yeah,
Unicorn
type it in
was
the
taken,
chat.
so I had to go with Mythic Stallion.
What is that? I want to know.
I have a question. I actually have two questions, if that's okay.
Please.
Are we doing
So the
Filmic Pro questions? Go ahead.
yes, we are. We're doing Filmic Pro questions. Okay, so I have the iPhone. Oh, not that one. I have the iPhone 13. I'm so excited, and Amanda's getting hers next week, and we are very excited because we're going to do our next film on the iPhone 13. I full transparency. I for this one I will not be using Filmic Pro just because I want to test out the cinematic. Sorry. I do, I want to see the hype. I want to just test out the hype of the cinematic
You paid for
mode,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
a lot of money for it. I might as well,
Right,
test it
right,
out, right?
right,
I bet
right.
So my
Uni knows
question
some
in
stuff
regards
about
to
that
that,
too.
Yeah, I actually cinematic mode. It's a funny story. The Apple LiDAR team wanted to talk to me about how they could use it for filmmaking, and this was a year and a half ago. And
wow.
I just threw out a bunch of things off the top of my head because I wasn't really prepared for this meeting. And they're like, Chris, how can we use the LiDAR sensor? That's the sensor that can gauge depth. I said, oh, I don't know. Maybe you can do some kind of automatic focus pulling thing with depth of field simulation that you can adjust in post and attach like a depth of field map on an HEVC file as
That was
Oh
your
my.
idea.
something like that. Anyway,
That
so
was your
I'm watching this
idea.
presentation, and like the rest of you, I'm just like, what just happened? So I'm not taking credit for it, but
You're
But
taking credit for it.
yeah,
we
I'll
have a
let you.
very close relationship, Apple and us, and
Nice.
it was a funny moment.
That is
That's
really
great.
That's great.
wow, because
Well, thank
that's
you,
been
because I'm
on
going to test out your.
everybody's mind.
Let's go ahead.
I'm just saying
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
everybody's been talking about, and the massive amount of data, that is needed. It's already in ProRes, and I think you can only do that at 1080p, right? The rack focus and stuff, and the um, whole idea. I was talking about this too on Clubhouse with Darion and you folks. Is that they've got 2D images that you can focus at any point on the plane, basically. That's technology's been around for a while. But we're getting closer and closer with this idea of, different angles and different focal lengths. That was a good idea that you handed them, sir.
It wasn't
Or
Very
may
nothing.
nice.
have.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
We'll
they
say
did.
that you did.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. I'm thrilled though. I think it's Apple really is engaged now in the area of filmmaking. And before, I mean, to be honest with you, and just between us, they really didn't catch the vision 5 years ago. I had plenty of meetings with them trying to tell them, guys, this is going to be a thing. People are going to make movies with their phones, I promise. And I was laughed out of the room. But things have changed dramatically, and they have fully captured the vision. And it's not because a chubby guy in a bow tie shouted at them for an hour in a windowless office. It's because you people changed the world by making amazing art on the phone. That's what they caught wind of. That's what got their attention. And I can tell you, they are fully attentive. ProRes on an iPhone, still mind blowing. The possibilities. There is an encoding scheme called ProRes 422 QT, and it is essentially no different than shooting raw video on your iPhone. That's how good the quality is. Um, this is going to change things. I'm very excited.
That is super, and just insanely exciting, and just because I want you all to be able to ask a question, but I want to squeeze this in because you just made me think because we were talking about lenses. Um, that's the thing. Being I was a professional photographer a good chunk of my life, and glass and more glass and better glass. It has always been the rule, get the best glass and everything. And that's really changing too with what they can do with the lenses. Could you give us a little bit of just a quick concept of what you know of what these lenses are doing and how they're doing it? Because I'm starting to get lost with it. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're using a 6-lens optical formula that uses solenoid focusing and whole sensor shift stabilization. They're very good. They're very good. But much of it is being outsourced to the VDSP. That's a part of the chip that processes images. So before, you would want a lens that would account for optical distortion and try to counter it. But Apple has decided, we don't really need to worry about that. They're having their VDSP take care of vignette correction and optical correction, geometry correction. So what they've done instead is they've focused on the fundamentals of the optics, that is edge-to-edge sharpness. And that combination of solving the optical problem partially on silicon has led to, I think, very compelling optics. And there's another wrinkle there in regard to computational imaging. I've been around long enough to hear the conversation about lenses change dramatically. In the past, if you had a lens that was really sharp in the center but got soft on the edges and vignetted slightly and introduced chromatic aberration and light leaks, that was called a crap lens. Now people will pay you good cash money to simulate that on an iPhone. And all of these defects have now become endeared to people. So ironically, Apple has created an array of optics that are technically extremely good, sharp, edge to edge. And now consumers are saying, that's kind of boring. Give me some vignetting back. Give me some, give me some, swirly bokeh. I want the defects back.
Right.
So it's come full circle, and I find that being in photography, as long as I have in review too, seeing that conversation come full circle has been it's been entertaining, to say the least.
To say the least.
So can I kind of continue? My question was for the iPhone 13, is there anything that Filmic Pro does on the iPhone 13 that it didn't do as well on I had a 10. I shot that short film on the 1 minute film on a 11.
Mhm.
Just wondering if the phone makes a difference in terms of what the app can do.
Oh yes, oh yeah. The noise levels are much lower. I don't know if that's because the photodiodes are bigger or because the noise reduction is better or a combination of the two, but it's just a much cleaner image. The other thing too is the subsampling is better. We have now twice the amount of color information on the new phones that we do have on the old ones. That's cool. Obviously, I'm not using any color information in my stream tonight, but for people who appreciate that sort of thing, it's going to be valuable. The other thing too is the encoder is extraordinary. They've obviously their H.264 and HEVC encoders have always been very good, but we have been internally testing their ProRes encoders. They have offered not just one ProRes format, but they've offered 4: ProRes Proxy, ProRes LT, ProRes 422, and ProRes QT. And these all offer enormous benefits. Even the lowest quality ProRes is a stratospheric upgrade over the highest quality HEVC compression. So we're going to have to rethink how we even think about quality with ProRes, because you can slam ProRes down to the lowest quality you can output, and it will still go toe to toe with any high-end mirrorless camera on the market in terms of compression quality. It's very exciting, very exciting.
And would that be for somebody who'd like to make a film that's projected on the big screen?
Yes.
And would that not be so important for somebody who is? We show our films on YouTube, so
yeah.
Would that not be as much of a benefit for us?
If you don't mind me getting technical for a moment, I can explain where you're going to see advantages and where you're not going to see advantages. So for shots that are stabilized, that are not where there's not a pan or transition or a zoom going on, you're not going to see a huge difference, because the HEVC encoder is just very good at reconstructing those frames. So when the scene is still, you're not going to see a huge difference. However, when the camera is moving, or when raindrops are falling, or leaves are rustling, you may have noticed that that kind of detail gets blocky and smeary on a lot of mobile video, and that's
Yeah.
just because the encoder has to create these keyframes and basically build the intermediate frames with fragments, and it can't do that kind of detail very well. Lots of fine, small movement, um, like raindrops running down a window. It just has a hard time with that. ProRes, on the other hand, works in a completely different way, where each individual frame can maintain a high amount of discrete detail, which means that you can take an iPhone and shoot ProRes and retain extremely small details, sand blowing across a table on a macro shot, rain falling, marbles spilling down a sidewalk, and all of that small high frequency change, grass blowing subtly in the breeze, that detail will not break up and it will not become smeary. And that's cool. Smeary, that's my technical term for it. So I would recommend, if you have the opportunity to shoot with ProRes, even if it's not, obviously you can't publish ProRes. Obviously, it's going to have to get compressed to an endpoint codec at some point. But if you have the opportunity to capture it as ProRes, the whole image processing chain, from acquisition to NLE to publishing, you're going to see quality improvements. So I think it very much is worth it.
I think I should have bought the 1 terabyte, right? Like Amanda bought the 1 terabyte iPhone
Well,
13. I bought the
y-
256. Is that enough for ProRes?
it is. It is. I wouldn't shoot with ProRes QT. You know, that's gonna suck up all of your free capacity. However, I think you can shoot with ProRes Proxy just fine. I would keep
Okay.
an eye on your storage and offload those files when you have a chance. But yes, you can very much use that size and shoot with the ProRes Proxy codec subformat.
And the to the idea of the best quality in that you can possibly do. Am I correct? In at least in theory, Uni, that the best possible coming in, at 8,000K is going to give you a better product than coming in at 1080 if they both eventually get squeezed into the same pipe.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah.
the image processing chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if the very first link in the chain is you losing all of that high frequency detail, it's not going to improve after that, right? There's no amount of processing or like even if you do like temporal noise reduction, DaVinci Resolve, it's not going to fix it. So making sure that the footage that you get is as pristine as possible is going to be helpful. And again, I think this allows you to get shots that maybe you would have been shy about getting before, right? Maybe if you want a shot of somebody walking through, I don't know, a California rice paddy or something, where you have tremendous amount of filamentous detail, and one gust of wind can introduce a tremendous amount of fine movement, which on a traditional recording system would just become incoherent and look terrible. But ProRes can handle that. So it actually opens up possibilities that I don't think were there before. It's very interesting.
Wow.
I'm
Cool.
going to have
Thank
to
you so
buy
much.
an iPhone 13, and I've only had my 12
Yes.
for a few months. But yeah. But I'm not a filmmaker. I don't need it. I can make a really good image with my iPhone 12. I'm doing it right now.
Yes.
I'm fine. Sorry, Mr.
And the
Cohen.
14 will be out before we
Right.
know it. The 14 will
Exactly.
be
And
out.
it will actually be able to expand, in size as needed, to give you a longer focal length, for goodness sakes. Who knows what they're going to do? Temporal? What did you say? Temporal?
Temporal noise reduction?
Jeez. Like, that just sounds cool. Like,
Yeah.
doing it in the
It's like
future.
time travel. Yeah.
Yes.
It is time travel, really. Yeah.
Oh,
It's so
I believe you. That's so cool.
That's how they get
Let's
to
go
the office
somewhere.
on the moon.
So Chris,
Yes.
The satellite
Yes, I
office.
believe it. Oh, I believe it.
so Chris, what do you think of handheld versus gimbal? in smartphone filmmaking, because I'm still a handheld person.
Mm,
I can handheld my image for 20 minutes without moving.
mhm. Yeah.
um, Now I do shot. I walk, with my. I do use a what do you call a rig, and I can hold my
Yeah.
rig with my phone and then do a shot, and people can see that they didn't think I was handheld. They think I
Yep.
was using. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think? Uh, Gimbal shot.
Well, that's a very interesting question. A lot when people ask me thick questions like that, should I get a gimbal? Should I get a rig that has like a lens adapter? I always say, probably not. No, because we call this. I don't know if you have. Um, I don't know if you have a phrase for this, but at Filmic we call this the ninja walk, right? Where we kind of keep our legs bent and we kind of keep our phone stabilized as good as we can. And
Yeah.
we all practice this too at Filmic. And yes, at Filmic we do have every stabilizer under the sun, right? We have to
Yeah.
because we test with those. But more often than not, folks at Filmic we will just hold it steady. And the reason why I think that works is because the sensor shift stabilization on the new phones is is phenomenal. And unless you're bobbing up and down, and you can visibly see the arcs in your step, you're not going to notice. It looks mechanically stabilized. It's very good. And I will say that this is just a personal preference, and I'm not speaking for the entire community of content consumers, but I prefer to see a handheld footage versus something that is stabilized or on a dolly in most cases. For me, it integrates me as a viewer into the scene in a way that's extremely subtle. There are very small organic camera movements in something that is just handheld that you cannot reproduce on something that's using linear brushless motors, right? Um, but there are some shots that I think do benefit from a gimbal. Um, it's a matter of using the right tool for the right job, and I think that question really I can't answer it as a prescription for all use cases. I can never say you should never use a gimbal or you should always use a gimbal. It's going to depend on the kind of shot you're trying to get. But for me, most of the time, I prefer just like you do, handheld footage executed well.
Thank
Hey,
you.
everybody. I'm gonna. We can talk. We can go over the hour and talk a little bit. I want to make sure everybody knows if you need to go, you need to go. I'm gonna do a wrap here at just at 1 hour, so I can cut this together for Instagram. Somehow, I've only done two people in DaVinci and tried to line it all up, and you guys are all different sizes, and so I'll probably have to do a lot of cuts. But if I find the time, we'll do it. Hang on 1 second. Alexa, stop. She's reminding me to do this. So listen, everybody. I'm Revolution McInnes. Alexa, stop. Yes, here we go. So professional. Um,
Robot.
all your Alexas now are freaking out.
I turned
The
mine off because
you've been on my show. No, you haven't, have you? Anyway, this is
yeah.
Red Mac Live, the big interview. My name is Revolution McInnes. I have just been, wow, blown away by just a wonderful, transformative, honestly, discussion with Uni, the CTO of Filmic Pro, and just my wonderful fellow friends. I was going to say fellow filmmakers, but I did used to dabble. Ching, Jewel, Sky Nakamura, and Amanda Moresco. I just appreciate all of you for joining me. And I think we should maybe do this again or something sometime. There's a lot of knowledge that we could all pass with each other, and appreciate all of you. We got about 30 seconds. If anybody wants to say a quick out,
Well,
Thank you so much.
please come to our iPhone video production on Clubhouse at the
Yes.
Friday 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Good job
We do
pitching that.
iPhone video production. We talk this every Friday.
And
All
we'll
right,
have more to talk
I'm going
about.
to stop you guys. Peace be with you, and namaste.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
we're good. So we're still here. You don't have to run. We don't have to stay too long again. If everybody wants to, we're in like the the after show now. So everybody,
After party.
let your hair down.
Oh, we can
And,
drink now.
You can drink exactly.
Look at my cup. Look at my cup.
Yang
Have tea.
2020.
Then 2020.
Yes,
You know,
I love it. I love it.
something else that's occurring to me right in this moment when you did the outro, and it didn't occur to me at the beginning, right? But Uni had said he's taking away the gatekeepers. The whole taking away the gatekeepers thing was like, I wanted to shout, right, and say yes, right. But now look at 3 women filmmakers. Look at 3 women
I was
filmmakers.
thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Who nobody's going to say you can't make your film, and nobody's going to say you can make a film but you can't make another one.
Right.
Look at us.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and 2 Asians, we've been underrepresented.
Yes,
And I think it's
Oh yeah, don't get me started
really-
on that. That's been
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's the whole spectrum, right? The Asian American community has been trying to break into Hollywood for years, and they've just been locked out. And they like their 4 actors, and they pass them around to every single production, and they just I don't. There's deep systematic problems, and I don't think. And I try to be pragmatic about this. I don't think that we fix those problems by trying to repair inherently flawed systems. I think we take advantage of the new systems. We create footage, we create films in different ways. We publish on different platforms. Instead of trying to lecture these people who are not going to change, we just walk past them. And we change the world on our own.
Absolutely. I love that. Because
follow.
when I
Where are
first
you
got
going?
into
I'm going to follow you. Wherever you go, I'm going with you. So just let us know where you're going. We're going to.
I'm following
is
you.
great.
Me too.
Yeah, holy cow. I got to take a breath because first of all, Uni, you actually slowed the pace of the show down because your demeanor and also that we're in the after party here or whatever, and like just your presence and your being and everything. It's just it feels good. You're just a groovy guy. I just want to say that I really like you as just a really cool guy with a lot of knowledge who's willing to dispense it and really does it well. So much appreciate you, sir. And then just like folks, just breathe this in. 3 women filmmakers, and the same thing with 2 of them being Asian is just amazing. And we always say it. I'm here to make bank, but this is why this is so amazing. These platforms that we can have this space, and it's going to be here forever, and people are going to be able, to see that these transitions had started to come and the walls had started to break, and all of you, all 4 of you, are contributing to that, and I appreciate you so much for giving me your time. Okay, I'll let you talk. A good host doesn't talk, so I'll be quiet.
I was just going to say that, when I first got in the industry, this is like the late 80s, early 90s, and I wanted to break stereotypes. That was kind of like my mission, was to break stereotypes of Asians and Asian Americans in film and television. But now I just want to tell our stories. So it's not like I'm going against something and try to break something that's indestructible. The system, you just can't go against it, but you could go around it.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
you can make your own system. And now with all this technology, it's just an amazing time that I'm getting back into all of this, and I'm getting in. And 2 months ago, I wouldn't have called myself a filmmaker. Now I could call myself an award-winning filmmaker. So it's this group and this community that thank you, Amanda. You guys are I just love you guys. This is such a great community that's being built. and it's just we're at the forefront of it all, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. So thank you, and thank you, Chris, for this amazing product. You know, it really is helping us to do this, to break these barriers or to go
You are
around them.
breaking the barrier. Our product is just a product. It's just a thing.
Well,
And there's going to come a day when Filmic won't be around anymore. But the thing that you made, it'll be around. It will. I can't watch a film like that and it not change me on some level. And I carry that with me far longer than I carry an app on my phone. I,
thank you.
people talk about how technology changes and how technology democratizes, and I agree with that to a certain extent. And I do peddle that line, obviously, because that's my job. But ultimately, it's this community of filmmakers that is the movement that is changing the world. And honestly, Filmic Pro could disappear from the face of the earth tomorrow, and nothing is going to stop what's started.
Well, I think I'm a loyalist, and I just I just meeting you just also makes me feel like, oh, this is an amazing company. And from what you say
Yeah,
about the other people that you work with, right? It's like you
yeah,
have that desire not just to make money and actually not to make money, because like you said, a lot of you could be making a lot of money somewhere else. And I really respect that and appreciate that you're willing to work for this company because of not just it's not just a job. It's because you see what it's allowing people like us to do. So thank you.
Yeah, I think the I wanted to jump back to something you said too, Uni, because you were talking about the cost of a Filmic Pro, and then the the cost in, let's say, India or Malaysia, and we had just a amazing woman filmmaker from Malaysia on the film fest that we're going to bring back and do on Saturday nights, the pop up film festival, and just um, do you do you guys offer it at an easier rate for them, like in Malaysia and India? I mean, you actually reduce the price.
Yeah, we do experiment with regional pricing in different areas to make sure that we're price optimal. I can't
Oh,
really
cool.
go into our pricing model
Sure.
in a public venue because some people will question, hey, why do I pay this here and not this
Hmm.
here?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't want to go into those details, but we are very sensitive to the fact that, um, you know, money flows at different rates in different parts of the world. And we want to make sure, first and foremost, that our community of filmmakers has access to the best tools on mobile that they possibly can get for a fair price.
Well, I
And that
appreciate
can be
you.
challenging. We have to streamline our operations in a lot of ways to make sure that we can make that happen because obviously if we're not if we're not paying our bills, we can't keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
Um, so it's been a delicate balancing act over the years. I will say though, over the past couple of years, Filmic has uh, ascended to a point where we're no longer uncomfortable. In we don't wonder when if the lights are going to get shut off. So that's a great place to be. Um,
Yes, it is. Yes, that is a very great place to be. Yeah, that I won't go any deeper, except to say that it's 100% fine with me. I think it's a great idea. The uh, the the film school, the connections through Clubhouse, Uni, did there like do you have like a give us like a fun, interesting, crazy Filmic Pro anecdote that you heard or something? I'm just kind of curious what that kind of stuff might be out there. Hey, there's Darion.
Darion's in the
oh,
room.
Hi, Darian.
Darion.
Hi, Darian.
He's the our fearless leader. He's
our
the founder of the 1 Minute Film School. So he's the reason why all of us are here actually.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Yep.
hey Darian, how are
missed
you?
a great
Hi
convo. This
there.
convo has been amazing. Yes, good to see you.
Yes.
Christopher, how are you black and white? That's amazing. Is that
Oh,
Filmic
yeah,
Pro?
I use Filmic
Filmic
Pro's
Pro.
tone mapping system to actually change the luminance in real time. So I calibrate it
It's
to
pretty awesome.
I
look the
actually
way
Okay,
makes
is
me
that
feel like I'm time traveling back to the 1950s to get like inside knowledge.
I was born in the wrong generation.
We've been to the
hey,
moon and back, actually.
hey, Uni,
Are you
quickly.
guys having
Wait a minute.
fun tonight?
Go ahead, Darian.
So
Sorry.
much fun.
I was just gonna ask if everybody's having
Yeah.
fun. Like, what have I been missing?
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of amazing information.
you missed a lot.
Yep. A lot of like soulful camaraderie about filmmaking.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
great.
been.
Darren,
Oh, go ahead. No, please go, sir.
Darren, I was going to ask you about this school. How many through the pandemic has it been challenging to administrate, and how have you had to adapt?
Oh, so I think honestly, I think we're kind of got the benefit of the pandemic, to be honest, because of Clubhouse. It kind of gave us a lot more time, and we were able to start with some really amazing speakers, esteemed directors, a lot of people who maybe in a normal time without the pandemic might not have been as available to contribute time to the students and to the school and everything. So I feel like that gave us a really, really great jump start, and that momentum has continued. It just keeps going. It's been great.
And I don't know if you've already spoken with us, but we like to give promo codes to film schools so that you can equip your students with our applications. So if you
Oh my
wouldn't mind,
goodness.
could you reach out to chris@filmicpro.com and we'll get
That
that
would be
process
amazing,
started.
Chris. That would be so much appreciated by all the filmmakers who are actually all right here. So yeah, I
Oh, you
mean,
got a few more. You've
would
got a
we
few more.
would we? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. What would we be appreciative? What do you think, Amanda, Ching,
Oh,
Sky? I mean,
man.
what do you think?
I
That was
think I already
awesome.
paid for
I
everything that
already,
I could pay for on
I
Filmic,
I
but
already
oh,
did
oh,
it
but
2 years
For
ago.
everybody else. Yes.
oh
All
yeah,
the other
that'd be
students.
amazing.
Yes.
That'd be great.
And
That'd be really great.
Yeah, we have
Yep.
quite a few people who I think would love that. That's amazing, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah,
that'd be really nice. That's really
for
cool.
sure.
Darian, we did have a really wide ranging conversation that was just incredibly just transformative in terms of talking film and all that stuff, right? This nice little community that is here, and this community that you've built in the 1 Minute Film School. And we showed Sky's film, but I want to ask you, because I don't know if I have. I think you tell this story, but how did this little 1 Minute Film School thing come about? I don't know the origin story, and I'm like an admin in your club, so I think I should know.
Oh yeah, no. So, and interestingly enough, I'd be interested in also hearing kind of the origin story of Filmic Pro and see if it was always just kind of the same vision. But it didn't really start with any kind of a plan the way that it's become. It was more, the app Clubhouse is where it was founded, and we were on Clubhouse and we'd have these rooms where we do Q&A. And what I was noticing was a lot of filmmakers were asking some of the similar questions about process, about how to make sure their films were of a certain quality and things like that. And so what I figured out was I said, listen, even though I may not already have an Oscar under my wing or anything like that, I'm still far enough ahead of ahead in my experience that what I know is worth sharing. And so I went ahead and made a curriculum, a very brief curriculum. I didn't want to make it an entire book. So it's like 9 pages, 7, 9, page, quickly easily readable pages in a PDF of like, follow these steps and you'll be going through the proper process of making a film. And then the school supports it, right? So we have the rooms on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Saturday Eastern time on Clubhouse, where people are able to then talk and ask the questions. We do some analysis of, scenes or things from movies. Amanda is basically like our script expert, and she shares a lot of knowledge, with her experience as a screenwriter. And we've just been fortunate because we've had a lot of really experienced people in different areas come through and talk. So it was very organic, but then we started formalizing it over time and created the monthly competition, which, as you know, Sky, who's here, is the current winner of Best Picture, as well as a number of other awards. And she did actually use Filmic Pro to make her film.
Oh
So,
yeah.
that's a great testimony right there. But yeah, it's just kept going. So, very natural, kind of organic progression.
And you have he's a very humble fellow there, Mr. Danjou. There's just been like we said, a whole community of people that have come together around this, and that would have never probably connected ever. I mean, everybody on this stage, and my gosh, I was um, you know Gavin, and I mean, there's just so many people that have made connections, and Amanda and Roger Green. I'm going to have fun telling that story because that clubhouse connection to this connection, and they're helping each other as filmmakers. People are doing this, and we know something now about Filmic Pro that I had, no idea, and it's just amazing the ideas that came out of here tonight, Darion. But I do want to say that your film school, it changes people's lives, and and to be a little funny, might be saving them a lot of cash because they don't run out and make that first feature. They make some 1 minute films and get their cut their chops there.
That's it, Rev. I mean, I didn't want everybody making some of the same mistakes I made. I mean, I've probably told you guys the story about how you know, film is a second career for me, but I came in thinking that I would just direct a feature film all on green screen as my very first filmmaking project ever. And I quickly was humbled by the limitations of technology and things like that. But I mean, sometimes it's great to be kind of a dumb and bumbling, because you run into a lot of knowledge and information that does end up paying off, down the line. But Christopher, since you're here, I don't know if somebody's already asked you this, but with you being a CTO of a company that deals with something related to film, is that are you purely a technical person, or was there some love of film? Are you a filmmaker yourself? How did you kind of get into that role, specifically in a company that deals with film, Filmic Pro, obviously, which is related to film?
Yeah, that's a good question. Our founder and CEO, Neil Barham, he is a filmmaker, and he was a documentary filmmaker for years. And he worked on the margins of all the problem that every independent filmmaker works: not enough time, not enough money, not enough people who believe in your vision, and you have to work through the established system. And he was just fed up with it, and so he started Filmic. I was brought in some years later. My background is an analog photographer, and that's always been my passion. I'm not a filmmaker, but I am a photographer. Um, and I'm also technical. Obviously, I'm a color scientist, a software engineer. So we had this combination of experience and expertise, and we brought it together to make Filmic. And when you said that you kind of stumbled your way through the process of acquiring your expertise, that resonated with me because I feel like that's exactly what we did. It's one thing to take a blank sheet of paper and draw buttons on it. It's quite another to actually solve workflow problems for filmmakers. Um, and that journey itself has been one of mistake, repentance, and refactor. But we've learned our lessons, many of them the hard way. And Filmic, I think, is the process of this two-way communication. We at Filmic speak to our community of filmmakers directly, and we ask them to not hold back, just punch us right in the nose and tell us what's not working, and we try to fix it. And that process has it's worked, and I think it's made a compelling product. And I think that's one of the best ways to learn, whether you're a filmmaker or you're making a camera app. Sometimes you have to fail forward a little bit to get the best result.
That's
They
awesome.
often fail forward, young filmmakers. I mean, learning all those tips and tricks as you go. I mean, I think I got to the point in life at some point where it's just like, you know what, just let's fail a few times here so I can get the rhythm of this shit. You know, I mean, just get in it and just, you know, that's what I need sometimes.
Where did you learn
And
to program
Darion,
all this stuff, Christopher?
Yes. I've been an embedded C engineer for 20 years, something like that. But I've been in mobile software development for about 8 years now. And I learned part of it through my own self-education, and part of it I attended classes in Seattle, a school called Code Fellows. Um, so I picked up the mobile education where I could here and there.
Amazing. Very cool.
and
Yeah,
for the
the
record,
go
Darion,
ahead.
the rack focus in cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 was actually Christopher's recommendation to Apple. So
You're gonna
just
get me in
for the
trouble,
record.
Sky.
That is so cool.
That's
You know,
we claim that.
he
You know,
he had
you
a
don't. We
conversation with
claim it.
them a year and a half ago, though,
It was a
and he's,
Yeah.
coincidence.
the
Yes. Coincidence.
I don't know about that. I don't
Isn't
know,
that crazy, Darian? Like,
right?
you
well,
know,
the funny thing is, I knew that Sky would probably ask a question similar to that because we were kind of talking about it, ahead, and she was saying, she was wondering if the new cinematic features of the iPhone would sort of create like negate Filmic Pro, right? And so I
interesting.
don't know if we asked that question yet, but that was one thing we were wondering: does it work hand in hand with Filmic Pro, or is it kind of butting up against each other a little bit?
I can answer that terrifying question rife with existential dread. Um, the, the answer is that anytime Apple expands the language of filmmaking and makes that more accessible to a larger audience, Filmic wins. So cinematic mode is amazing, and it's also going to be accessible to, over the next couple of years, over 1 billion people. They're going to have access to this. But there's going to come a point where they're going to run into its limits. It's highly automated. The pulls don't happen when you want them to. The transition ramps are not controlled by the filmmaker. The depth of field effect isn't real. You can actually see problems with the edges. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think cinematic mode is amazing. And if you just want to pick it up and just experiment and just play around and find your voice as a filmmaker with minimal effort, by all means, use cinematic mode. I think it's amazing. But there's going to come a point, I think, where you're going to want or need the tools that are available by way of Filmic Pro, whether that be audio device integration, automatic gimbal pairing, whether that be encoding at, say, 400 megabits per second, getting maximal quality out of your phone. Cinematic mode won't be able to do that for you, and that's where I think Filmic Pro will be able to come in and say, we can solve that particular problem for you.
And
And that is
maybe even improve on it, right? Because I guess if Filmic Pro can access some of those same features, I guess it could. You guys could probably come out with updates that are enhanced, even. Maybe.
Yeah, I can't really speak to how we're going to take advantage of all the new technology. I will say that there are some things that we intentionally do not adopt because we feel that the native camera app is doing a good job with those features, and there's no reason for us to try and compete with something that's free. So in many cases, we just let Apple have it. That's fine. You can have that feature or that bit of UX. That's cool. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to focus on the high-end workflow. for mobile cinematographers, and hope that it all works out. And so far it has, knock on wood.
I think it's probably, I gotta say, pretty smart of Apple to take meetings with you, sir. So the the just the man, yeah. I mean, I jump around from Filmic Pro to the native app. You know, I was telling Sky about Splice and my fun, little promo that I put together this afternoon with found footage, and I mean, you can hear that I'm in different environments when I'm doing the narration because I'm doing this on the fly. And I was looking for, I'm like, ooh, I forgot to get room tone. If I'd had some room tone, which is when I was outside with the kids, well, I could have laid that down underneath with Splice and gotten it done. And I was telling Sky, man, that's a fantastic app. It's got, you can do a lot. You know, it's just an amazing way to put a little piece together, and I will use it for a promo when I could make it a little cooler with DaVinci, which I don't know a lot about. But most of the time, I just make it on that app. I shoot it on it, and I make it on there, and out it goes at 4K. Um, to the destination that I'm sending it to. So I'm going to tell everybody try the Splice app too. It's amazing. Tons of transitions, and well, the other thing too is the free music. I haven't figured out how Instagram and Splice and all this stuff is getting licensed. But if I own a song on iTunes, then Splice will let me use it on their app. So somewhere in that transition, I know somebody's getting a couple of bucks, for me to be able to, not a couple of bucks, but a couple of cents or whatever for me to be able to use that. So Instagram music, Splice provides music. I mean, I don't know like how they're doing it, but these apps are amazing right now for just making, films. There's so many things to do. So the Splice app, 100%, guys, check that one out. And I'm not working for them. Well, the question is, I think, when are we gonna maybe? Are you on Clubhouse at all, Uni?
No, I'm a bit of a Luddite myself.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll let you Luddite it, but if at some point you venture into Clubhouse, it would be interesting to have you on Darion's film school sometime to talk about this a little bit. But we'll recommend they watch this for now. And Darion, really, you want to watch this thing, man? There's just a ton of knowledge in this episode. If you're watching it on the replay, everybody, it's just super happy that you've stuck with us. I know it is getting pretty late for some of us on the East Coast, 2 of us on the East Coast, and 1 in the middle and 2 out west. So we could do this for hours.
Where's Christopher based? Where are you based?
Seattle.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I do say that if you did want to come on the Clubhouse, we've got quite a few rooms that would be perfect for you. Ching, obviously, I'm sure has mentioned that we do a smartphone filmmaking every Friday. Usually it's at 11, sometimes 12. 12.
Now it's
right?
12.
Now it's 12. 12 p.m. Eastern
But that's
time.
12 Eastern.
12
That's
Eastern
right.
time.
12 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm trying to think of the 29 weeks or however many weeks. How
Yeah.
many weeks do you think there are, Ching, that Filmic Pro has not come up as a topic of discussion?
That's true. It's so true.
We're probably cruising along at an average, give or take, of 0. I would say around.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we spend about 2 hours every Friday talking about smartphone filmmaking. So, yeah, obviously Filmic Pro is one of the is the thing that always is present in that discussion.
Well, that thrills my numb monochrome soul.
I'm taking a picture of us. Okay, 1,
Oh, okay.
2, 3.
And
Very nice. I will tell
honestly,
you,
if Chris
one of the
comes on
fun things about the
Clubhouse,
control room is watching everybody's faces. Like when you're watching a movie, I record those once in a while and send them to you. It's hilarious. But go ahead,
well,
Darian.
I was just gonna say, Chris, Clubhouse is famous for that sepia tone icon, right? That they have. I feel like Chris would just automatically fit in on Clubhouse with. He's got the perfect
Totally.
icon right now. Just take a screenshot right there, and he's ready to go.
An amazing
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks great.
Chris, don't come to Clubhouse. You will be pulled by us into deep water. It'll never come out.
Really? I'm
Very
intrigued.
addictive.
It's so addictive. It's
Oh my
really
goodness. Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, everybody does have their detox moments with Clubhouse. Mine was, I did it once. I'm like, and then like 2 weeks later, then 5 days after that, I think I ate and went to the bathroom and maybe slept.
Oh yeah,
It was a
yeah.
ride. It was a ride.
And did you ever overcome such a disease?
Oh yeah, I've been able to. I've been mainlining some other apps, so. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you should at least try, Chris.
All right, I'll see if
So
I
it's
can
just
figure
a
it out.
great
I
process.
I turned it on one time and I started getting blasted by this room, I guess, that they were talking about like end times prophecy or something. I don't know. I was very confused.
Oh, I
Yeah,
do
you
those
have to
on
pick
Sunday
your
nights.
rooms.
What
Oh
did
my
I
goodness.
download?
Yeah, it's like, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh my.
The
Yeah,
algorithm needs to do a better job of
Yeah,
selecting things for newcomers.
yeah,
the
yeah.
Like
CTO of
let's
Filmic.
ease people in.
Sorry, because he's very humble. But the
Right.
CTO of Filmic comes into Clubhouse, and that's the room he finds. Yeah, that might be a
End of
problem.
days. The end is nigh.
Right.
It might be. I don't know.
Oh,
No, you got
well,
to join our
it'll be
filmmaking club.
it'll be filmed. We'll get it all on film for sure now.
For sure.
That's exactly why there is no Bigfoot, folks, because somebody'd have gotten a good image of him. All right. Anyway, um, um, wow, holy cow. Whew, no, Clubhouse,
Bigfoot would have definitely
definitely.
had an Instagram page by now if there were a Bigfoot. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
true.
The and by the way, Darian, check out Uni's his Christopher also goes by Uni. Check out Uni's
Instagram.
Instagram. His photos are
I
just
put it in the
phenomenal.
chat.
Oh, good. Yeah, you
Mythic
did put it
Stallion
in the
is in the
chat.
chat.
And let me see one thing
okay.
here. Did that load? Nah, it didn't. But I would. Uni, do you like sci-fi horror kind of stuff?
Oh yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Absolutely.
I will put the links in the chat because Darian has got because it was in the little promo if you saw it. This amazing short called "Mommy," and these aren't shot on iPhone. Just saying. But and he's got this other film, Pony, which is just a taste of a bigger movie that I just totally recommend because he is a hell of a great filmmaker and film and I would love for you to see what he's doing. So I'm going to put those in the chat and you guys keep talking and I'm going to actually stretch my legs for a minute. Stay as long as you want, folks. But know
I,
that, Amanda, you got to go. Yeah.
yes,
Say
I'm
good
gonna
night.
go. This has been amazing. I cannot thank you enough. It's just been a total joy. So thank you.
It was a
Yeah.
pleasure meeting
Thank you,
you.
Amanda.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Amanda.
Good night.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
it easy, Amanda.
Somebody's in charge.
Uh-oh. Who wants to be in
Oh,
charge?
whoever.
The
Darian, you're in charge.
The teacher, the school teacher.
Yes.
Well, Chris, I'm very interested. What's been on your mind lately? Like just in life, what kinds of things have been a surprise for you in 2021 so far, or interesting to you in 2021?
Oh, well, I mean, in general, I think the extraordinary constraints that everyone is under has forced people to seek different creative outlets and expand themselves. In terms of personal improvement, I think that's great. Also, I think the past 2 years have brought out it's been a time of dichotomies,
Yeah.
because the best has come out of people, I think, and also the worst in some cases. Um, but I think this last year, 2 years really, has been a time of necessary change. Um, the filmmaking in particular was already sick. Um, the old systems were already failing. The financiers were going under. Distribution was in chaos as we were in the middle of transitioning to streaming services and self-publishing. And the pandemic accelerated all of that to the point where many didn't survive the transition. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's catalyzing necessary change. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, that is definitely fantastic. I mean, for many of us who are on Clubhouse, I think it's safe to say that Clubhouse has definitely changed lives. Um, I am, my career is definitely going in a different direction, uh, not away from film, but like just in the way that it's coming into fruition,
Mhm.
in a way that was very unexpected because of Clubhouse. Because I met all of these wonderful people, and they're all becoming my friends. To be honest, even the reason that I was late to the program tonight was because I was sitting with the sponsor of our film competition, you know, who handed out our big prize last month, and he was
Mhm.
here in Atlanta. So, so that's all still related to Clubhouse and still related to film. And I just think it's very interesting how it's lovely how some of the technology can actually provide some of the, it's not all doom and gloom, right? It's not all everything people say. It is providing a lot of great, wonderful opportunities.
Yeah.
So, and Filmic Pro is one of those. And I'm not just doing that to the, oh, you're here, and so let me just, it really does, you know, for Sky, for example, is a perfect example what I feel like Filmic Pro is making possible, because Sky really, before that, was an actress who hadn't really made films of her own, you know? And so to see her within a 2 month period go from essentially not making her own films to winning the film competition in a pretty overwhelming way, just by being able to try Filmic Pro. She went out and
Mhm.
tried things. She learned DaVinci. She learned color correction.
Wow.
All of those things. And so, she won cinematography because of that, and all of those things. So you are. I just want you to know that you really are changing lives. And even if Sky has been modest about that, I will not be modest about that, because I see it on the ground on Clubhouse every single day, because I'm talking to filmmakers. I'm seeing people become better filmmakers. And yeah, so just thanks to you for being part of the change.
Well, I mean, I've tried to rebuff several statements very similar to that tonight, and you just won't stop, you people. So
No,
I'll
we
say
won't
it one
stop.
more time. Filmic Pro could disappear tomorrow, and this movement wouldn't stop because you are it. The mobile
Oh,
filmmaking revolution is powered by you, filmmakers, not by tools.
mm.
Um, Filmic Pro is just a thing that you use to realize your vision. And I'm happy. I'm very happy that you're using my thing. But it's, I mean, you are making this happen. This community here, and we're at the beginning of something very big. Mobile filmmaking hasn't matured. It's not at the end of its journey. It's at the beginning. You're pioneers. You're charting. You're cutting down a fresh line through a dark forest. There are great things to come, and I'm encouraged when like when I'm with people who have your passion. It gives me the strength to keep going. Um, and I gotta say, thank you very much for sharing some of that energy and enthusiasm with me. and I will take it back to my team and share it with them. We feed off of this, and we're just so humbled that you guys would even use our solution to make your beautiful art. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Well, the JB from Sweden has stepped in and said, "How do new filmmakers get access to Filmmaker Pro?" JB, it's a it's an app on for iPhone. If you are familiar with it, and Android. Ooh, I got to remember that. Filmic Pro. There's Darion's got it, and yeah, you can buy it right in the iTunes. I don't know. They don't call it iTunes Store anymore. I don't know what they call it. The Apple thing.
The App Store?
The App Store. There you go. Thank you. Hey, just quickly, because we're talking about filmmaking, and you really do have much more of a pulse, I think, on where mobile filmmaking's going than I do. Like, without anything kind of proprietary, like when am I going to be able to have like just what's coming? What are some things that we might expect to see that kind of are on the horizon?
I can't. So we have a close relationship with Apple, Samsung, Huawei, all other manufacturers, and
Sure.
I can't speak to their product lines specifically. I feel like that would be a betrayal of trust. However,
Sure.
I can make some observations about what's out there now, and I can give you reasonable projections about what is to come. How about that?
That'd be
okay
awesome.
with vague responses? So we have seen a few positive trends over the past few years. Trend number one, time of flight sensors have been added to phones. And if you don't know what that is, Apple is calling it LiDAR, but basically the phone is projecting infrared dots, and it's getting depth point cloud. Basically, it's creating a depth map of its environment. That technology is still very new in the form factor that it is in. And as that technology matures, it's going to be able to create higher resolution depth maps. You might say, well, Chris, what does that mean? A higher resolution depth map allows you to create depth of field simulation where, the background is blurry and it has, aperture blades in the bokeh and things like that. But it would, better depth maps allow you to capture finer detail at the transitions. So filamentous detail like hair or maybe the space between glasses. Things like that, current phones just can't do well. But as that technology gets better, the time of flight sensor, you're going to see that get better and better. And I expect over the next 3 to 5 years, I know that's kind of a long time, you're going to see the time of flight sensors become so sophisticated that under most circumstances, eventually it will be almost impossible to tell the difference between a true optic and a simulated optic that is doing that. That's just something that we have to be comfortable with. I do think there's going to be a side effect where the high-end mirrorless camera market is going to decline even further than it has already. And basically, this is going to occupy that segment. And the market will be stratified into 2 layers instead of 3, essentially high-end phones and high-end cameras and nothing in between. That transition is going to happen. The other trend that we're seeing is camera manufacturers are investing in new exotic sensor technologies. Organic diodes and quantum dot re-emissive layers. I know that's like Greek, but essentially the low light performance is going to be dramatically better over the next several years, to the point where the initial proposition of having a large sensor camera, it may not be as compelling.
How quickly do you see something like that happening. The large sensor not being as compelling.
Yeah. So
Asking for a friend just to make sure they don't consider spending too much money on it.
Sure, sure. Well, so large sensors are good at a few different things. One, obviously, each photodiode is larger. They're just physically bigger, and they can absorb more light per pixel, basically. So if you use exotic technologies like organic diodes or quantum dot re-emissive layers, those photosites, those diodes don't need to be as big. So you can have the light sensitivity of a large sensor, but in a very, very, very small package, which conveniently fits in a phone. The second advantage to a large sensor is that you can have shallower depth of field effects, where you can isolate a subject from its background in a very cinematic and pleasing way. And as I alluded to earlier, coupling a high quality time of flight sensor with a computational pipeline, you can simulate this now, and you will be able to do so more convincingly in the future. And there is going to come a point where all of these technologies are going to work together to create something that is good enough. And as you know, in the consumer electronics space, it is impossible to compete with a solution that is both cheap and good enough.
And so if you had to give an estimate on how many years that something like that would take fruition. I mean, I know it's not. I know you're not a seeing crystal ball, but if you had to kind of guess.
I look like one. So let's take it one piece at a time. The high quality lidar sensors, the time of flight sensors. So we're on generation 1 of those packages. We're going to be going into generation 2 in the next 12 to 18 months. So we should see those second generation lidar arrays in the next iPhone or the one after that. So that solves one part of the equation. In terms of the exotic sensor substrate, whether we're dealing with a different backside illuminated sensor or a re-emissive layer, those are widely reported to be on the verge of being viable for mass production. I can't speak to actually when those will go into mass production, but I don't think it could be as soon as next year, as long as 3 years out.
And all of those, all the technology that we're talking about there, is that um, as those sensors get smaller and more accessible, do you see you see this transition of the two, the high end happening pretty quickly too, fairly soon, that big part of the market's just going to drop away?
Yeah, expectations recalibrate with time. There was a time I remember when if you had told someone you were going to shoot a television show with a DSLR, they would have laughed you out of the room. It was just absurd. But that became very normal about 10 years ago. And over time, people's expectations just shifted, right? This when we talk about the barriers between the normalization of mobile videography, the biggest isn't the technology itself; it's people's own taboos and perceptions about it. Essentially, if you go to a film set and you pull this out of your pocket and say, "We're going to shoot a feature film with this," your producer is going to pull you aside and have a really stern talk with you, and maybe question your ability to lead this project. So this isn't necessarily about the technology at all. It's about perceptions that people have and taboos, and those will fall away, but they take time.
To that extent, Chris, does Filmic Pro, and probably I should probably earn it, but to what extent does Filmic Pro invest in like film competitions or even invest in film projects that are showing off its technology and helping to push the boundaries on erasing some of the kind of the way Apple does its whole like shot on iPhone, right? You know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they know why they're doing that so that people will see that look, you can actually make pretty high-end stuff on this. Is Filmic Pro doing any of that, or have you thought about doing that kind of stuff? I know you've
We,
thought of it.
of course, we do that in a very limited way. I will say that our desire to be involved in sponsorship and producing never quite aligns with our means to do those things.
They
Again,
run
none of us
pretty
at Filmic,
lean over there.
yeah, we're a lean operation. We don't do this to drive Maseratis and live in Manhattan penthouses,
Well,
right?
I wanted a ride.
That's not the. I mean, if we want that stuff, this isn't the right industry for that. But we do what we can. So every once in a while, we'll find a competition that we can sponsor and make sense for us in our books at the time. We'll also sometimes find content creators that we really resonate with them and the work that they're doing, and then we'll help in any way that we can. Sometimes it's as simple as throwing some funding at them. In other cases, we can get them equipment or do some co-marketing with them. It just depends on you know our means in that particular quarter. But if you're asking in particular if Filmic can work with you and your projects, I would love to continue this conversation offline, and maybe we can dive into some particulars. And if you have a proposal, I'd like to go over it for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Obviously that would be great our community level, but definitely from the level of pushing the envelope. I think I'm aligned with you as in the understanding that it really takes somebody making, you know, some award-winning feature film that's made on a super low budget or whatever, kind of like what Tangerine did for
Yes.
iPhone, right? You know, that kind of thing. You get more of those, and then all of a sudden those taboos start to go away,
Right.
because that's when the pedal hits the metal. That's what kind of it's like. You can have a taboo as much as you want, but if I'm showing you a film right next to yours that's
Mm-hmm.
compelling audiences and doing what it needs to do, that definitely will accelerate those uh, dismissal of
Yeah.
those taboos. Yeah.
That's it. That's it exactly. You don't shatter that taboo by coming out with a better iPhone. You just don't. You make films. That's how you do it.
Hmm. I just wanted to quickly say, hey, Mark, thanks for the great discussion award. And always awesome to see you, my friend. Mark is the CEO of HAPS and just a great guy, and was going to be on with us tonight and was a little bit under the weather. So I am sure we will see Mark again soon. It's great to see you, sir. The Yeah, we Darian, we were kind of talking about this idea of of filmmaking and that thing that you just fell right into tonight, which is um, availability, accessibility, the creative, flow of people that couldn't do it before, right? I mean, we talked about this, on another level of just I guess it's airbags, right? I remember the first car I was in with airbags. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And 30 years ago, now every car, the cheapest car, has airbags, right? So this will, drop down. And not any, um, it's, an iPhone 10 that you haven't helped to use a Filmic remote with, if you even give that to an organization, they can send that to a kid in another part of the world, and they can start making films. It's still a great device. So that aspect of it too just thrills me with what both you and Filmic are doing, which is bringing film to voices that you know don't always get a chance to put their voice out there. So just absolutely amazing. And just blowing my mind with thinking about what's coming in the future. Uni is great because it just think about. I know Darian knows access to this technology. You could see it in Sky's film. Uh, that would what did you say? A uni at the beginning, 500,000 to 1.2 million is a low budget feature these days, right? Yeah,
My numbers
that's
might be out of date. There are people who do. I mean, low budget. That water level keeps rising.
Yeah, right. Did you see Darion's face? He's like, "Whoo, I'll take
Yeah,
500,000." And I can
yeah.
guarantee you, folks, if you gave Darion Danjou $500,000, he'd make a $5 million movie with it. I promise you.
I'm
I
sure he would.
promise you too. Yeah, I mean, we made a $250,000 monster movie last year that looks like, and that looks like a few $1 million for sure. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
and that got sold. But yeah, it's like we're trying to do more with less. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the filmmaker curse, I guess, right?
I know. I mean, it's all gaffer tape and luck, right? I mean, you're just improvising every single day.
Yep.
That's why. I mean, that's why I love you people. It's. I feel like we're in the same. We fight the same dragons, right? When we first started making Filmic, the phones of that time could barely run the app. The app would get so hot to the touch that we would tell professional shoots that we're shooting like films and commercials with it. We'd be like, now you should probably keep some ice packs on set, because between shots you're going to have to put the phone between ice packs to cool it down, because it will thermally throttle and shut down. That's what we were dealing with. Over the years, those limitations have fallen away, obviously. Not all, but they're coming down. And as they do, that's a force amplifier for independent filmmakers. And it's awesome.
Do you feel like at this point, are the limitations still the phone or your ability to program more stuff?
And that's a phenomenal question. Yeah, I would say in the beginning it was definitely the phone. We were doing everything we could to flog that thing. But now I would say that our limitation is time and opportunity. We just don't have unlimited amount of time and resources to do everything that we want to do. So we're trying to find creative ways to do that. I don't like, a lot of companies in tech, they have unhealthy work cultures and they require mandatory overtime and things like that. And we've never been that way. In fact, the entire month of September, we gave our people 4-day weeks instead of 5, because we wanted them to enjoy the last beautiful weather of early fall. So we try to have a healthy work culture there. But I would say that the big limiter is time, opportunity. There's just stuff that we're not able to do because we just don't have time and resources to do it, which I think is cool. It means that we have to be a little bit more specialized. We can't chase every single feature that we want to put into production. And in a way, that's a clarifier. And I think of independent filmmakers too. They have a vision, and then they have their resources, and then they have to reconcile those two things together to make a film. And the vision and the resources, they have to meet and they have to shake hands and they have to negotiate with one another to produce the film, to produce the product. And it's the same thing with making Filmic Pro. We don't have unlimited resources. We do have an unlimited vision, but there comes a focal point where you actually have to put code to metal and bring something to market. And we hope we're doing good by our community.
Interesting. JB says the Oscar-winning movie, I guess, Searching for Sugar Man, was partially shot by the Swedish filmmaker Malik. I have no. I'm just going to skip over the last name there. Not even try to attempt. JB, you'll have to come on sometime and tell us. That unfortunately is not with us anymore due to mental health problems. But I do look. Gavin Booth, we all know Gavin Booth except for uni, but is damn good filmmaker, and I would try to get Gavin to come on tonight because his current, I think it's his current feature, just possibly maybe a big chunk of it could be on an iPhone and a possible product of somebody we know here. So I know he would. he would definitely been pumped for the conversation. But when you shoot, no, I don't think wasn't supposed to say, when you shoot half your feature film on an iPhone, and you're the caliber filmmaker that Gavin Booth is, it says a hell of a lot for an iPhone. You know what I mean? And your product to do that. I mean, these are, there are people that are making these films on these phones that, um, you know, these people are seeing this every day, this footage every day, and they don't realize it.
Right.
It's not such a big deal now. Ooh, they shot that feature on iPhone. Well, yeah, and 2,700 other of them by now. So very cool. Very cool.
I mean, it just shows you how important technique is, right? Technique, framing, lighting, audio engineering, editing. That's the lion's share of it, right? And the camera that you use is relatively unimportant. I have a filmmaker friend who refused to shoot anything but a 2K RE forever, and his films were gorgeous. And everybody mocked him for it, but man, that guy, he could make film. And who cares how many megapixels your camera has or what kind of optics you have access to? It's all about technique. It's about the filmmaker and the technical execution. It's not about the app or the camera. But still buy my camera app.
I like that last little push there for it, and please do, because it is an amazing app. The that is just it's great because it does take me back, to film school and the first year film students, and oh really? No, we have to shoot on what? 8mm?
Yeah, 8mm.
My grandpa has 8. I know they have 16, and well, you got to do that your second year, son. So yeah, you had to learn. It's the craft, right, guys? I mean, it's the knowing. You can put a plate in front of you. Matthew Brady did it. Made some amazing photographs, and that dude had basically no tech. So, it can be done.
I'm not sure how much it costs to rent an RE or to buy an RE, but I wouldn't be able to afford it. So for people like me, it's definitely, technique is everything. But when you have super limited resources, it's nice to have the iPhone that my daughter already had. So I think our budget was maybe $250, including lunch, a couple of lunches.
Now that is a good investment.
Yeah, and I gave her the gimbal. We had a DJI, the Mobile 3, and I gave it to her, and I bought the Mobile 5 for myself. So I've been practicing with that too. So I have my little clip on. It's been a lot of fun.
What I was saying, I haven't said this in the room much, but I was thinking about it lately, and I meant to say it, is that there's a bit of a bias that happens, that we think that these higher end cameras are so fantastic because of the movies that we see shot with them and the things we see. But there's a bias there, and that's like, yeah, you have somebody like Sky, right? So she shoots her first movie on an iPhone, right? Then she's going to shoot a few more, start winning a bunch of awards and everything. And then somebody's going to give her some money and she get a DP. And then she's probably going to like maybe shoot with the expensive camera. And then everybody will say at that point, oh, look at that camera that she used. That's, that camera is so amazing. No, it's Sky that's amazing. And it's just that the people who are invested in that craft have a tendency to then move to the higher end gear, right? So you've got to kind of find a way to eliminate that constant, that biased variable, before you can really make a judgment about, I need to shoot with that camera in order to shoot. No, you need to get as good as those filmmakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take a $2 million camera and shoot your shoes with it. It's not going to make great film. And Sky, I will say that I don't know that a different camera would have changed that film for the better. I don't think anything could have been added to it or taken away from it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I shot it on flat though because I I watch all these YouTube videos and everybody
Mhm.
says Filmic Pro, shoot with flat, shoot with flat. And then when I looked at it on the phone, it looked pretty good. But when I took it home and put it in DaVinci, I was like, oh my God, there's no color. So
Yeah, it's lower
there's a
sat.
lot. Yeah, so it's interesting though. But it worked with that film because I wanted the flashback scenes to be more colorful, so it worked. But yeah, I still have a lot to learn with
If you
Filmic
have any
Pro, so I just have to.
questions, you can reach out to us or support at filmicpro.com or me directly, and we'll help. So if you have
Oh my,
footage like flat and you need some color in there, we can give you some lookup tables in DaVinci, and single click, you got it looking great.
Wow.
that would be amazing. Because I tried
That is
everything.
very
I
cool.
tried LUTs. I just tried a lot
Yep,
of things, and I
we can
couldn't
help.
get the color that I wanted. I mean, it
Sure.
worked, but I'm kind of, yeah, still, I look at it and I'm like, oh, I just wanted a little bit
Oh yeah,
more
no
color.
problem. I mean, if
Because
you want,
there's so
I
much.
can hop on a screen share with you, and we can do a DaVinci Resolve session together. Just let me
Oh
know.
my gosh, that would be amazing. Darion did a Da Vinci session, but he wasn't even. It was on Clubhouse, so it was all audio. It was amazing that he just knew. He didn't even have the
Just
Da
paints the
Vinci
picture
program
with his
opened in
words.
front of him. He just knows. He said photographic memory or something, and he was taking me through. I was like, what? So that helped a
I
lot.
don't
But I
know,
would love that. That would be an honor.
Darian, I don't know how you verbally describe a differential blend in a node tree. I would have
No.
loved to hear that.
That's not gonna work. Oh my God, that's so awesome.
But the reason why he's such a good teacher is he's so good at explaining things in a way that you could understand. Even if he's not looking at the program, he could do it. It's amazing.
I guess it was Einstein who said something like, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough.
I wouldn't disagree.
I like that. The wow, I just again I feel like I've got this, big booming energy and I am just getting like soaked in with just really just a great vibe and just really digging this whole thing and anytime anyone uni would like to come over from Filmic Pro and do anything for us in terms of showing people or whatever on my show, man, it's the floor is yours. Anytime, you know, somebody would like to do something that it would help, it would get something out, or even for you, you know what I mean? I'm always available because this is a I have fun on every program I do. If I didn't, what am I doing it for? But um, this has just been like this is a keeper, like for lots of people to just run through this and watch the replay. Share this with your friends because they're just from filmmaking to technical. I mean, I gotta use the words temporal.
Temporal noise reduction.
Yes, sorry. Temporal noise reduction. I don't write scripts, but I got to write at least some short script just so I can use those words because they're the coolest thing I've ever heard. Temporal noise reduction. We're going to figure out in the future how much noise we're going to have and take it away before it happens. Temporal
Doesn't
noise
quite
reduction.
work that way.
No, that's not it. Well, I've been watching Foundation, and I also would urge anyone to watch that film. And the showrunner has taken so many liberties, which he has to for that book series, but they've all worked, and it's been amazing. So, and gosh, talk about Apple and a budget. That thing is shot amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So, don't get me started on all my pet peeves about when streamers release shows on weekly releases, because that is the only thing I have against Apple TV now, because they make amazing shows. I've yet to see a non-amazing show on Apple TV Plus, but they did Foundation with the two, they did the 2 episodes, and now they're doing weekly releases. So I definitely fired off a feedback email on that one, because it's a big pet peeve of mine. I don't like when we start a revolution, right? Like Filmic Pro, iPhones, streaming, all these things to give freedom, and then people start to try to manipulate that freedom, you know? And it's like, I could understand weekly releases when we had television, there's only 168 hours in a week, so of course you have to space it out and do all these other things. But when you're on streaming, you don't have to do that. You don't have that limitation. So the only purpose in doing it is to manipulate us into marketing for them, rather than just giving us the experience that we want, and trusting that, you know, just trusting the people and the marketing to happen in the organic way based on letting us experience it how we want. Because for some people like weekly releases, but for me it frustrates me because I really need to be able to be immersed in that thing and stay immersed in it to get the full enjoyment. And my enjoyment is significantly reduced when I am forced to wait a week and go do all the stuff I do every week and then have to try to get back into it. So, yeah, that was with Foundation because I had been waiting over a year for Foundation. And then when that happened, I was like, are you kidding me? I have to.
You have to wait 10 weeks to watch it?
Don't
Yeah,
make me wait.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
end up waiting 10 weeks because I'm not gonna watch any more of it
Well,
until it's all out. You know, the whole
I
thing.
didn't know that when I watched it. And when I went to watch episode 3, I'm like,
Three.
what the,
Yes.
I paid for it even,
Exactly.
you know, because I
Yeah.
paid for it before. And I'm like, are you kidding me? No,
Yeah.
what the, I can't see this. Like, because I thought I was going to get to watch I was ready to have the executive producer yell at me for being up all night. What were you watching? You know what I mean? I was ready. And no, yeah, that broke my heart a little bit. It
Ready to have a
definitely did.
terrible Monday. You know, I was just like, well, you know, I'm just gonna have to just sleep through Monday. You know, like.
But I do remember.
But I had a
I'm old
great
enough
Monday.
to
You know.
remember. I'm old enough to remember with like, oh man, they're all out at once. Like then, like I have to wait a year before I can
Right.
see what's next. You know what I mean? And there are a lot of shows that I love, and as soon as it comes out, I'm like, I'm gonna wait because I'm not gonna get to see this for a year. Wait, it's already been a year. Okay, just watch it. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know what to do. So there's the other side of the coin. But I feel you. And Apple only has, I think this figure is correct, 22 million subscribers. It's like scary low. So they're footing the bill for a lot of good stuff. So I don't know. We might be able to let them get away with you having to wait 10 weeks, Darion. I mean, that thing's
And
supposed to
I'm doing the
go
same with C as well.
80
C,
episodes over
oh, it's supposed to go 80
10
episodes.
years.
Wow.
80. He wants to
Yeah.
make 80. So in 10 years or something, or 10 episodes, sorry, in 8 years. So yeah, like they have big vision for that thing. So I hope Apple TV survives. Let me check that figure too.
Well, they're gonna survive. I don't think that's a question. Yeah, it's just whether. I mean, they'll grow in subscribers over time, I guess.
It's so fragmented too.
I
Like
think it's sort of a long play that they're doing. You know. Well, they just won all those Emmys with Ted Lasso, so I think that's helping, right? Their whole branding.
no, I'm wrong here though.
Oh.
It surpassed 40 million in 2021, but it was still a lot lower than I thought they would be at for sure.
Rev, I gotta go.
Of course, no problem.
I'm really
Ching.
tired.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. And I do want to say that Ching was on here a few days ago and we had a blast. And so you should watch that when you folks have, you can binge watch that. You should watch that. And that is, you know, just a great episode. Sky will be coming up one of these days with her episode that she got for being a winner on the film school, because I'm also a sponsor of the film school. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, this is just a blast.
By the way, sorry, Ralph. Next Wednesday, I get to interview Sky. Next Wednesday on my YouTube channel, 4 p.m. So.
And then I'm coming up on a Sunday, right? We can confirm that now.
Right. Yeah, Sunday.
And I'll be on there. I'll be on there as well. So yeah, it's
Sunday,
a nice
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yeah, thank you, Ching, for coming by. Get to have you on twice. It's been a joy.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for seeing all of you. Darion!
Hey, Ching. Good to see you this
Sky.
late. This is
Yeah,
late for us, right?
I know it's kind of. And why are you calling Chris a different name? You calling
Oh,
Chris
I'm calling him so Uni
Uni?
or
What's
Chris,
Uni?
Chris Cohen. He also goes by the name Uni, UNI.
Oh,
That's yeah. So
oh,
I've been
that's
calling him by.
cute.
What is the
Okay.
story behind that? Because if you don't tell me the real story, Chris, my imagination is going to go in all kinds of very strange directions. So I'm just being honest here.
Well, at at work they started calling me Resplendent Unicorn.
I was
And
going to
that
say unicorn.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
shortened to Unicorn,
Yes.
and then over time that shortened to Uni. I guess at some point it's just gonna
Nice.
shorten to you. Maybe at some point, I don't know.
Can we go shorter than you? I don't
I
think so.
don't know.
That's funny.
I love that.
Nice,
That is
nice.
that is
That's
hilarious.
great.
It's
I
funny
do
how
have to
those
hop off
nicknames
myself.
happen.
Oh yeah, no worries, sir.
It was
This
a
has been
pleasure speaking to you guys. I hope I can
Yeah,
get your
thank you
contact
so
information from
much.
Rev. I would like to stay in
I'll
contact.
get it to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely stay in touch. You've been even in the part that I've caught. It's been absolutely insightful and enlightening. So thank you for sharing your time and knowledge and experience with us.
It was an absolute pleasure. I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care, Uni.
much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
All
That was
right, take it easy,
amazing. That was
Ching.
so fun. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Thank
just a
you.
blast, everybody.
Thank you,
And
Rev.
Yeah.
thank you. And well, we'll talk to all of you soon, I guess.
Okay.
This is
Yes.
but if anybody has any parting words, go ahead.
Well, actually, I
Oh, I
have
wish
a
he was
question.
here.
I
Oh,
have a
go ahead.
question for Darion. I went to shoot the rally march.
I can't hear you, Ching. Can you hear Ching?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we can.
Hello. Okay.
Um, hey,
Okay. Yeah. Good. I went to
go
shoot.
ahead.
I
Go
went
ahead.
to shoot the march on Saturday, and then I spent the 3 days editing it. I already published just right now, like an hour ago. My question is, when I shoot the rally going this way, right? I'm far away. I'm shooting this way, and then sometimes I go closer to the other side, and then I shoot other side, and then sometimes I jump to another side. So my question for you is: are there rules of when a moving thing going one direction, am I supposed to shoot on two different directions? Is that confusing for the audience?
Yes, yes, it is confusing. Yeah. So you kind of so there's that 180 rule that they talk about, and there are ways to break the 180 rule, right? So just real quick description: the 180 rule, typically in a dialogue thing, right? Obviously, we're talking table. I'm going to start with that first, just to make it easy to understand. So if two people are talking and I'm facing you, Ching, like when we were in New York at that table, right? If I were to shoot that with a camera, I would always need to keep the camera on one side of the 180. So if there's a line between me and you, the camera should be on this side of us, so shooting me or shooting you, but never going like on the other side because it looks like the world is flipped. To the camera, it looks like you went to the other side of the table, right? So that's the rule. But the way that you can break the 180 rule in that kind of a conversation is to actually move the camera across the line. So if you move the camera is here and you move the camera across the 180 line, you essentially establish a new 180 because the audience knows relative to where it was. But if you go like shoot here and then pop to over here, it will look like, because my face will be like this, and in the next edit, my face will be like this. And it'll be like, whoa, did he jump to the other side? But if you move the camera in one, you'll say, oh, no, no, here we are, we're going with you. And now there's a new line, and then you have to hold on to that line, right? Okay, so think about it the same way with like a rally. Okay, so a rally is moving in one direction. So if this rally is moving across the screen like this, right, in this direction, if you're going like this and then the camera pops to the other side, the edit, it makes it look like the crowd is moving this direction. So it's like woo, like this, and then all of a sudden it's like this, and now we don't know, ooh, where are we, exactly. So the only way to do it, if you do want to change directions, is your camera would need to, in one shot, be on one side of the rally and kind of go with the rally to the other side, and then everybody sees, oh yeah, okay, we just shifted, and now every edit can be on that side. So you can put the camera anywhere on this side, anywhere in the 180. Think of the 180 line as the direction of the walking. But if you're ever going to sit to the other side of the walking, because the direction will shift, you have to do a move, an actual physical move.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Well,
much.
excellent.
Yeah, no problem.
Little tidbit on the end of that incredible night. What'd you say, Sky?
Sky.
Well, I saw one more caveat. The only caveat to that is if you want to make the feeling terrifying. So if you're going for a terrifying feeling, then you could do it on purpose, because if you're looking at a rally and it's like, let's say it's like a Nazi rally and they're going to do bad things, right? If the camera's sort of moving around and kind of going back, then you feel very uncomfortable because you don't know where you are. It will feel like the rally's like very intimidating and very. So that's why when you see war films, war documentaries, and things, they will break the rule on purpose, where the camera could be just about anywhere, because then you don't have any comfort level to where you are. So that's the exception. Yeah.
Okay.
That is.
Thank you.
That would be cool. What are we looking at? Oh, she's looking it up. The
What?
180 rule.
Oh.
Oh, Sky, yeah, we can't hear you. Maybe fix it how you fixed it before. Hey, Darion, check your, because when we shut this off, you're going to disappear because you're on mobile. So just remember to look at your Insta. There's an actor that you might know of that we're close to maybe getting on the show that I just sent you, and it would
Nice.
be pretty awesome if I can pull that off. So
Nice.
keep your fingers crossed. You see
All right,
it?
Oh, I
I'll
missed
figure
that. What
this
did
out.
you say, Rev? I missed that.
Oh, I'm giving him a top secret look at a potential guest, maybe that we can open back the film fest with or something.
Secret.
Yeah, I know.
Secret.
I mean, here's the thing, Darion. This will happen eventually. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is, yeah, people are kind of. So I'm not trying to. I was not trying to build myself up, but people are starting to ask to be on the show. So it's like, we're going to be able to keep talking to super interesting people at every level, and it's just going to get more fun and more fun. And I appreciate all of you, but I knew you would appreciate that because of your love of the genre, let's say. So,
Oh, yeah, you're teasing me, man.
I know. Well, don't get your hopes up. I normally don't say anything to anybody until they're booked, but
Yeah.
I have been working these kind of things for a while. We'll get one of these. And Alex Angeles, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Shane,
no,
I know you gotta
I
go.
think I know. No, I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, well, okay, maybe, but let's not mention it here. But yes, it's fine.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
But Alex Angeles is going to be on again too, Darion. So, and I still really dig that film that she was in. I mean, I've watched it not that long
Amazing.
ago. They made a decent movie. It's a good movie. So.
Oh yeah, Sky and Ching, if you want to watch a really cool, would you call it a horror film, right?
It's kind of a horror film. Yeah.
Yeah, Alex,
I don't
just
like
look up
horror
Alex
films.
Angeles, and then you'll see. I can't remember the name right now.
Oh, it's
but
it's the.
it's on IMDb.
Hold on a
Wrote it
second.
down.
Oh, you already wrote down.
So
I
many
always
things
get
to
it mixed
watch.
up with The Conjuring.
No,
but
I
it's not
just
The
wrote
Conjuring. The Cleansing
Alex
Hour.
Angeles.
The Cleansing Hour.
The Cleansing Hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleansing Hour. Alex Angeles, Alix.
Okay.
Yeah, I can type it in here.
ALIX.
And she's on Clubhouse too, along with her sister Chris Angeles, her twin sister Chris Angeles.
Yes. So if you want to cast absolutely talented and beautiful twins, for any kind of thing. They both act as well. So
Cool.
Chris was just in had her song on the radio in a film, and it's I can't. He's a pretty big deal filmmaker in a small part. So they're great too. And Chris was going to be on tonight, but the timing didn't work. So we'll catch her again soon too. It is 11:28 in Chicago. Oh,
I'm going to send this
Guy,
to you. Sorry, really
we can
quick.
hear you.
I found
We
an
can hear you.
article. Yeah, I know. I
Good.
did my little trick. So I found an article. What is the 180-degree rule in film? Crossing the line with purpose. And there's examples of actual films that do
Ooh.
this, which I think is there's a video on it, and then there's a video with different films. Like Heat has it, and that's a table for two situation.
Oh, right.
So, right. Oh, there's another one with Heat. Yeah. So I sent that to you via Instagram. So
That's awesome.
you know me, I'm the
Yeah, I like that. I'm
research.
gonna
That's how
consume
I
all of that because I want to get also better examples of like when people cross the 180 because that's the thing is to see because what happens is a lot of times people will learn that rule, then they'll be like, well, no, they did it in this movie or whatever, but then you're like, wait a minute, but why did they do it in that movie? What was the
Yes.
reason? What was the so there is, there
Oh,
can be
yeah.
ways of doing it with intention. But it's good
exactly. And
if
that's
I
what it
can read
says.
those
It says crossing the
examples
line with purpose.
with purpose.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I want to get more examples of those. Yeah.
if you can't
I'll send that
break
to you
the
too.
rule without the rule, like, if you try to break a rule for whatever reason, if it feels like you broke the rule and that's all I focus on, that's going to be a problem because, but if you can break the rule and then afterwards I'm like, holy shit, what did they just do? Bam. That's when you break a rule, I think,
Yeah,
The
because I
table
didn't
for
know
two
that.
scene.
I didn't know
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
Heat broke the rule. So see, Sky is saying that Heat has
right.
it breaking the rule to me is intriguing because now I'm like, whoa, because that's not something I noticed, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, very cool.
I
Very
actually
cool.
am the next 1-minute film that I'm going to try to make. I am trying to mimic a film that I really like, and there is a crossing the 180. But I don't want to say which one it is. I don't want to say which film because I want to try to make it look like that. So
Yeah, she wouldn't even
hopefully
tell
you
me
could
behind the
guess.
scenes. So, but I told her I'm also a judge, so I don't want to, be perceived as a mentor or something. So don't talk to me, Sky. Damn it, we can't be friends
But
anymore.
it's a
Okay,
really
I resign. I
it's a,
resign.
it's
I
a
resign.
really good crossing the 180 example. I just can't mention it until after the competition. But I love the scene.
nice. That's
You'll
really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
By the
and I'll
way,
point it out once.
do
Yeah.
any of you have a police outfit? Policeman outfit?
And not one that
No.
I can wear in public. No, just kidding.
Does it need to have the top and the bottom?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, there we
Yeah.
go. On that note,
On that
Okay.
note,
Okay.
you need a scene with
Does it
somebody in a
need to have
police
the back
uniform.
side of the pants and the front side of the pants?
Right. Is it okay if they Velcro together? Exactly. Darion,
on
I knew you
that
did a lot
note,
of things. I knew you did a lot of things to support your filmmaking, but wow, learning that something new every day.
Streams of
You
income,
never
folks.
know.
Keep those
You
streams of
never
income.
Streams of
know.
income. This film financed
for my
by
job.
Velcro pants. Our Lord. All right.
Okay. Gotta
Catch all of
go.
you soon.
Yeah. And
Thank
Okie
you
dokie.
all.
have a good night. Good
Yeah.
Hey
night.
guys,
Okay, thank you
everybody
so
be
much,
good.
Rev.
Bye
It was
bye.
Oh, I
great.
want a glass of wine too.
Enjoy.
Good
All right.
night. All
All right,
right.
bye
Good night,
everybody.
Good night.
everybody. Take
Bye.
care.
What do I
Good night,
do?
JB. Good night, anybody else that's out there.
What do I do?
You're gone.
Exit
There you
on
go.
the
Just like
bottom.
Clubhouse, you
Exit.
can
Oh,
just
okay.
exit out the room.
Where's the
And
exit?
there you go. I'll exit you out if you want. Did you see it? There, she found it. So that's me, Revolution McInnes, and that was woo, man. I know I gush, embarrassingly so, but it's just these people are awesome, and I just a little taken aback to have just that kind of dialogue um, on this program, and it's absolutely amazing. Thank you, JB. I appreciate that. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on the replay and you like what I do, you can sponsor me. Go to my profile page. $5 a month, something like that would be fantastic, and you can give coins and sponsor all your creators on Haps. And I urge you to do that. And come on, jump on board, be a part of Haps. Okay. Peace be with you.